Joining us this morning, Senator Ron Johnson's a member of the Budget and Appropriations Committees. He joins us this morning from D.C. Senator, good to have you back. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Carl. How are you doing?
Good, although not too surprised about this vote. I wonder, and I guess now there's talk that the GOP will take the other side of this and ask for a vote on the president's budget that we got back in February. How long are we going to be voting on things just for show?
Well, that is unfortunate, and we actually did vote on the Obama budget yesterday. Not one single Democrat voted for it. The president's budget failed by a vote of 0 to 97, and that is incredibly depressing if you think about the lack of leadership that budget showed.
Where's the solution here? Is it about getting the Susan Collinses of the world and the Rand Pauls and the Scott Browns to unify with the Republicans, or is there something else going on?
No, I tell you, the solution here is nothing happens in this country without presidential leadership. And this president has got to step up the plate, understand that he has got some very willing partners here on the Republican side to work with him to actually start solving our fiscal situation. Rather than demagoguing the issue, we need to sit down in good faith and goodwill and actually hammer out a solution. And that's what we have yet to see out of this president. I think really what President Obama is doing is he's going out raising funds to get reelected.
Is demagoguing what you think happened in New York 26, or was that voters actually voting based on the way they felt about the issue?
No, let's face it. I think everybody in this town realizes that the ticking time bomb with our budget is growing entitlements, and it has to be addressed. And so, on the Republican side, we're serious about it. So, Congressman Paul Ryan steps up the plate, proposes a solution to start the debate, and the other side just demagogues it and uses it as a political weapon. That is no way to come to a solution.
You seem to be suggesting that the Democrats are the ones who are inflexible, but Congressman Ryan would be the first to acknowledge that he is inflexible in new taxes on the revenue side of the equation. Why is it the case in the Democrats' case, but not in Congressman Ryan's case?
Well, first of all, I think all Republicans realize we need more revenue, but we need to grow revenue the old-fashioned way by growing our economy, not increasing tax rates. The problem with increasing tax rates is it'll be counterproductive. It'll harm our economy, and the number one solution to our problems really is economic growth. It isn't the only solution. We have got to come up with a credible spending reduction plan, and that is what we really need presidential leadership to do, is take a look at the entitlements, take a look at all the mandatory spending, take a look at all the discretionary spending, work with Republicans in good faith to start developing a credible spending plan. That's what's going to get the economy going, too. It'll re-inject confidence on the part of consumers and business leaders to start investing. That's what we need to do.
All right. So this morning the headlines are GOP moves to reset the debate. Leader Cantor saying in an interview that he thinks growth has been left out of the discussion of late for whatever reason. So can this be sold in a new way?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of selling. It's a matter of just the facts. And the facts are that unless we start addressing the entitlement programs, our budget is going to be broken. There's a whole new entitlement, health care, and that's the one I've been banging the drum on. That thing will add trillions of dollars to our deficit, and that's not even being reflected in any of these budgets right now. But no, economic growth is the primary component of a solution here, and so everything we're doing here has got to be directed toward increasing our economy.
Hey, Senator, this debt ceiling thing is it almost comes down to just right down party lines. I've been taking one stance today. Sometimes I'll take a stance, but that it wouldn't be the end of the world. Sort of the notion that we saw with Stan Druckenmiller in that piece. We're going to have Corzine on, the governor, and say, I know he's going to say it would be worse than the rapture, probably, and people who didn't want to raise the debt ceiling will be the ones going down in the earthquake. But would it be the end of the world if there was a week-long, 2-week-long delay to actually accomplish something long-term?
Absolutely not. I mean, let's face it, we would actually have to live within our means for a couple weeks. The president's own budget in 2012 estimates we'd be getting revenue in at the rate of $2.6 trillion a year. That's $800 billion more than we were spending just 10 years ago. So no, $2.6 trillion pays for all interest on the debt, 100% of Social Security, and still leaves $1.6 trillion for essential defense, security, safety, and health spending. Now, it would not be the end of the world by any means, and it is irresponsible of this administration to be out scaremongering. I totally agree with Stanley Druckenmiller. It's far better if we come up with a solution. to our fiscal situation rather than worrying about this debt ceiling.
How do you know it will be a couple of weeks?
I have no idea, but my point has been, listen, I've been watching this place for 31 years. Washington is broken. And to assume that the debt increase or the debt ceiling is going to be increased is very irresponsible. I'm not so sure that that's going to be happening. So we actually are sending
this is based on a budget that your party went ahead with too. This is to pay the bills that we've already signed up for and agreed to. This is back pay, not forward pay.
Becky, I just got here. I've been here 4.5 months. This place is broken, and to assume that the debt
I didn't say you. I said your party,
is irresponsible. No, I understand, but that's irresponsible. So I just sent a letter to the president, signed by another 21 Republican senators, that is asking the president and his administration to lay in a contingency plan just in case the debt ceiling doesn't increase, so that we're not faced with a crisis if that doesn't happen. We should be laying in a plan.
It's a plan that goes beyond August 2nd?
Sure. I mean, again, if we don't increase that debt ceiling, we're going to be operating under $2.6 trillion worth of revenue. That is not the end of the world. Nobody's recommending it. I'm not recommending it. We should work toward a real solution and get a real budget. It's been over, I think the number is now 757 days since the democratically controlled Senate has passed a budget. Right. You talk about irresponsibility, and again, let's take a look at the president's budget. Nobody voted for it, not one Democrat. Come on, the Democrats have got to get serious about facing this fiscal situation in this country.
I guess my only question is, you keep talking about how the town is broken, and you're not getting a lot of arguments on that front. But then you say, well, after we default, it'll be a matter of days or weeks. And where does the trust come that Congress would actually get their act together because we defaulted? And meanwhile, we have buyers of government debt all around the world with choices, maybe not great choices, but all of a sudden the U.S. looks a little bit less attractive than it did before.
Listen, what I think we should do, and this is just one, very junior senator, I'd like to see the House pass, a set of pieces of legislation that actually fixes the problem. And they're talking about, a cut, a cap, and a balanced strategy. So you cut the spending in the next couple of years, you cap it over a glide path that puts us on a glide path for balancing the budget over 10 or 15 years, and then you pass a balanced budget amendment. I think those things would be very popular with the American people. I hope the House passes that legislation, brings that over to the Senate so we can consider it, and I think that's one of the ways that we can come to a conclusion here before we reach some kind of crisis stage.
Yeah. It's amazing how, what was it, last summer was health care, we had to run that gauntlet, or was it 2 summers ago? And now this is the one we're going to have to run this year. It's always something. Senator, appreciate your time. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks for having me on.
Senator Ron Johnson.